The body is bodying.
Cheers. Stop trying to get with me.
When will you let me? Imagine if you went to like a fortune teller and they were like,
You're going to end up together.
they were like, do you know someone called Dan Wye? Daniel Patrick Francis Wye? And they're like, you're going to get married. There's nothing else in your future but that. But there's other things.
Didn't you once say that you would get with me? Have I made that up? I think you did once say that I was like one of the most attractive women you'd ever met.
Yeah. Give me the date when I said that.
You once said something. I can't remember what it
You're
was.
like, 2009.
Yeah. What did you did once tell me that like I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I just want like someone, because Jack once told me that if he was straight, there are like 5 million women he would get with before me.
5 million.
My best friend said that to me.
Well, first you try to get with 5 million men.
Yeah. He was like, I would get, and he was listing all these girls that we like don't like. I would rather get with that. I'd rather get with that than get with you.
That's
I was like,
cruel.
You're so mean. I
That
know.
is cruel.
So mean.
Did I ever tell you the story though about the girl who I knew, like when we were teenagers, and she hooked up with this guy, and she was really drunk, and she lost half her finger in a lawnmower. She was the most stunning girl, but also had like this little, not that made her less stunning, of course.
Well, it makes her kind of interesting.
It makes her more interesting. But she went back with this guy, and like she was on top of him, and she was like, I just need a piss. And then she pissed on him and said that she'd squirted. And him just being a man was like, oh yeah, I'm so good.
Yeah, but the
Stinking of Barocca piss.
The only thing I hate about that is that so many men are like constantly like squirt is fully piss.
Right, yeah.
And then that feeds into the narrative. Because like when I was with my ex, and I would squirt, he'd be like, you're just pissing in the bed. And I was like, I'm not, 'cause it doesn't feel like I'm pissing in the bed.
You're like, there's a difference.
And he would gaslight me so much and be like, that's piss. And I was like, well, squirt is, a lot of it is piss, but a lot of it isn't. It's like a mixture.
No, but you would have squirted and then he'd be like, that's piss.
Yeah.
That's so unarousing.
I have so many things that I want to ask you and talk to you about, just because we've obviously known each other for such a long time.
Yeah, let it flow.
And so many of our craziest memories together have been like on nights out, which is sort of what this podcast is about.
Yeah, we've actually like done our own work for this and got fucked up for many years. To be here right now to talk about it.
What's your favourite memory with me?
I think it was when I said to you that I would have sex with you.
Yeah.
Oh wait, never happened. I mean, Mama, just the house parties here, I think I always
thank you so much. The little
dinner parties.
My Burns night dinner parties.
Honestly,
you are a regular at the Burns night dinner parties.
It always gets so weird and so loose. And what I love most is like,
speaking of piss.
Speaking of
piss, have you heard this story?
Mama, to our left, Niagara Falls.
So basically,
the heavy flow of it, girl. The heavy flow of it.
Shall I tell the story?
Yeah, please.
So on the last Burns night, so for people listening to this podcast, I every year like love to throw a Burns night dinner party at my house, and my friend Jack does all the cooking. It's really fun, and then it turns weird. So Emily will leave usually at like midnight because she's not getting on it.
Yeah.
And then we all get really weird.
Really weird.
And basically, this year we were outside in the garden smoking. And then I suddenly decided I needed a piss. So next to Holly, who was sat down, I just like dropped on the floor and pissed. And then Holly was really shroomy. I guess we'll figure out if we take that out. But Holly was really shroomy, and she thought that the piss was rising up to like sea level beside her. And she was going, oh my God, I'm drowning in it. And then do you remember at that moment the garden light just, like, came on?
The garden lights came on. It was like spotlight.
Yeah.
The heaviest sound of piss I've ever heard in my entire life. It's like I googled like piss sound is what gave. And like you just honestly in a deep squat, which was impressive because it must have been 25 minutes. I swear to God, just constant stream of piss coming out of you. You walked away looking like a squeezed Caprison.
Yeah.
Absolutely drained, girl.
I have never done a piss like it.
It was so loud. And the spotlight of just the garden light, and then you just carried on. It was perfection.
It was so funny.
And also, like, I do like those moments when you hang out with friends where it's like nostalgic back to like being at school, like a schoolhouse party almost, where it's like there's so much drama about nothing at all.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
just so funny. It's so funny being an adult in that environment.
It is the fun. It's the funnest night of my year every
Yeah.
year. I just always have such like an insane amount of fun.
But then this time I stayed till like 4:30 in the morning, and then I go to the other party.
yeah, you did. And
I turn up at 4:35 in the morning to this like party, and people are like, "You're here now," and I was like, "Well, I felt bad," but I was also just like on shrooms at Grace's for hours. We were stuck there,
and it was both of our friends' party, and then you made me look really bad because I never went.
No, but then I explained for both of us.
That
I was
we
like,
did
"Listen,
overdo it."
this was we were in a place,
and also
we were
I
drowning
think,
in Grace's pit.
Yeah, and I think
just the women and children were allowed to escape. The rest of us,
all I got to leave. I do think that the one thing I take seriously, I don't really take Christmas seriously, but the one thing I do take seriously is Burns Night. It's like, it's just like, I don't really care about many traditions. It's the one thing that I think I want to uphold for like the rest of my life.
It's nice. I mean, I never celebrated it until like meeting you.
No, you didn't even know what it was.
No, I didn't. You tried to read
I
a
did
poem.
a reading. I did a reading last year of Robert Burns, and my accent was
Mama,
insane.
you sounded like Lorraine Kelly on Cat. It was giving like Bo Selector. Do you know what I mean? It was like that level of accent.
Bo Selector, who I've been compared to a lot in my life.
In what
I've
sense?
got loads of trolls who like constantly tell me that I look like Bo Selector as Mel B.
That's evil though.
Well, I guess it's like the hair and the leopard print. I don't know. So anyway, back to
So this
you.
is not an ad for Bo Selector.
You didn't answer my first question, but like Burns Night, best memory of me. What is your like?
Wait, what's your best memory of me?
My best memory of you is when you got with the man who had just broken my heart and leant out of the tent and said, "You'll never guess who I got with last night." And it was a man who had just dumped me.
Yeah, but listen, if you listen to the old podcast that we did, you will have heard this story many times. I did not know that was the situation necessarily. And I was at a festival, and then this like fit guy with, let's both say it, the most perfect dick, said, "Do you want to have a threesome?" And I said, "Yeah." And then I did brag about it without knowing.
I'll never forget it. Me and Tara are packing down our tent, and it was the Monday morning at this festival. And like I had, I would say, an unsuccessful weekend. I'd had like a terrible acid trip, and then I'd had this man like dump me and tell me to like fuck off, basically.
Yeah.
And then you let out of the tent and you went, "Guess whose dick I sniffed?" Sorry, you were like, "Guess whose dick I sniffed K off last night?" And I was like, "Well, there's only one person it's gonna be now."
Well, yeah, because also in that situation, he wanted me to do the line. No, look at us on this every single time. It's me giving my dirtiest, deepest secrets without even caring. He wanted me to do this line off this girl's tit, and I was like, "Nah, go bucket list. Let me do it off your dick."
The way you just said caring. Did anyone hear that? Without even caring.
No, listen.
You're like Nathan Lane.
My
like,
intonation at the moment has gone.
Your intonation
keep
is
bringing
really,
it up.
yeah, without even caring. That's what you sounded like.
Well, I feel safe to be on this podcast. What a forum that's all about how we talk. Great.
No, I actually think like that was. I'm really happy that moment happened because it then gave us this gag that we've been able to bring up whenever we go anywhere. We make people really uncomfortable. And I say, "Dan once fucked my ex," and then they just like don't know what to think or say, especially if they're like deeply heterosexual.
Yeah,
they don't know like how to understand it.
Yeah, no, of course. And then also like it's nice also to then have like a mutual thing with someone that we're both like, ugh, trash.
So we have like in a couple of occasions been in situations where like we both fancy the same guy.
1,000 times. 1,000 times.
And then we like we sort of fantasy compete over like who would win.
Yeah.
In that situation, but we've never. Have we ever? Has
well,
anyone ever?
Neither
won?
of us has succeeded.
No. Exactly.
Yeah. The battle was definitely in our minds. No, but like it is
the battle is our minds.
The enemy is in me.
Yeah.
No, but also the problem is that we both have a similar style of flirting, which is a bit like tit for tat. But then because like comedy is our job, our tit is a lot perkier than most people's tat. And then we just end up bullying this boy.
And then it's like we're gang bullying him because
Yeah.
it's like this random, very quiet boy is just being ganged up on.
Yeah.
And then one
they're
of
like,
us
"Do you know-"
hopes that we're going to fucking shag them at the end of it.
Just like taking down all of their self-esteem. But like, do you know that shirt makes you look like a retired din lady girl? Please have sex with me. That's literally how it goes. I need to grow up.
I will say I got with someone the other day and the way I spoke to him was I said, your jeans are fucking disgusting. Why are you wearing them? And I got with him.
What, straight after you got with him? Well,
Within
no.
about 5 minutes I was getting with him.
What was that like?
Yeah, it was good.
No, but
His jeans were fucking disgusting.
Wait, why are they ugly?
They had an elasticated waistband and like a drawstring.
Girl, sorry, you're doing breakdancing in Leicester Square.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? No, but we do have a similar type, but like it's just like a bisexual boy. It
Yeah,
really
we both
does.
like bi men.
We do, and it's exciting.
I think-
I love the challenge. I love because actually you're a good like someone to compete with, but then we do throw each other under the bus. It's like everyone off the bus, there's a body underneath.
Yeah. Well,
I'm late for work.
that's why like the competition of us competing over a bi man would always end up with us not getting the bi man and us having an argument till like 6 a.m. You bring a lot to parties.
Thank you.
You do, but it's a lot of pressure.
So much pressure, actually. So much pressure. And like I find there have been literal times where like I've been maybe depressed or like not in the mood. And I've had like at like parties people be like, Dan, pretend like you work in a shop and someone's like tried to steal something. And I'm like, I'm not yes and let's not, I'm depressed.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I don't want to. But there is the pressure of like, always having to bring that quality. But then also it's quite easy. Like, I think naturally, like, I enjoy making people laugh. So, like...
But do you think that there's like a, you know, it's like, not to say that, like, we're both suicidal or anything, but, like, but, you know, like, the Robin Williams thing of, like...
Right.
The sort of, the contrast between being, like, you know, he's, like, I think, like, the funniest person who's ever lived.
Yeah.
And then having so much, like, internal unrest... Do you ever feel like when you're at a party, and I'm only saying this because I definitely feel this sometimes, because you have to be so on, do you ever feel like you're leaving your actual, like, how you feel? You're sort of disassociating to be able to be, like, the funniest person there, which often you are the funniest person.
Oh my God.
Anywhere you go.
That's so true.
But you are.
Thank you.
Okay, right, well.
Hey.
Don't not yes and.
Yes, and you too. Is my favourite band. We talk about music. No, but for me, it's more like when you go home. Like, it's when you leave that event and then like, or like, it's sometimes hard. I think as we get older and also it being our job, it's sometimes hard to like replenish the well. So like, I've become way more of a homebody like at the moment because I have this thought of like, like regenerating energy. But I do get energized by social interaction, but there is a balance of like, of me either feeling drained and being like, God, I gave everything to that. And then like you get on that journey home, you can kind of like, that's when the demons start talking and you feel quite alone and you're like, God, I've got to go back to my house now. And like, that's maybe the harder part. But like, I do think...
But do you think that's because people are feeding...
maybe.
Giving you validation?
And also it's a certain thing as well where like, I think we are lucky in the sense that we are socially anxious people. But like, for me, when I'm anxious, I get bigger. So like, you don't know I'm anxious because I'm actually being louder and more performative. But actually, I'm way more anxious in that moment. And then that tends for me to be like 5 like pints in without realizing, and then I'm like, oh God, why am I drunk? And it's like, oh, you've just been sinking it back without thinking. You don't feel great, you know. And then it's also that thing. I think it's that thing in therapy where like you because there's that idea that like people who try and make people laugh are always wearing a mask, and I've in therapy really tried to dissect that and be like, no, but I do think that is my real self. I do enjoy that, but then I do know also it is like a fight or flight. It is like a defense mechanism that I had as a child that has now become my job. So it's one of those things where like now I'm trying to in situations be like, you don't have to talk right now. Like someone else can take that. That's
Wow,
not your
you're
job.
really doing that work on yourself.
Doing it right now. Whenever you're ready. No, but like
No,
you have to.
totally. But also, I think it's because of that feeling of this is the only thing I have to offer. And then I think
Thing.
once you start to realize that you have so many other things to offer, and also sometimes you don't have to be on, you don't have to be really funny. People will still like you however you decide to arrive that day. And if they don't, then like fuck off. But I
Yeah.
think that's a really good thing to realize, because also me and you have had a lot of issues with like in romantic situations feeling like the only thing we have is to be like so funny
Yeah,
and
1,000.
on, and then you know that sometimes you don't want to just be like valued on, you want to feel like really hot and
yeah. I'm not just funny. I'm gorgeous. Why is no one
yeah,
saying
but
that?
you don't want it to always come back to like you being funny, I
No,
guess.
of course. I remember one time having like a dinner with my mate and I like said something and she was like, you know, I'm not friends with you because you're just funny. Like there's so many other qualities of yours that I enjoy. Name them.
Yeah.
Name them.
No, but it's true.
It is
And you're
true,
so you're such a good friend and you're so good to talk to. Like you're someone that I love
That's so
talking
nice.
through issues with.
Yeah, legit.
And you're not gonna be there like gag like while
No.
that's happening. But I can totally see and understand why in big social situations it does just feel like the default place to go sometimes.
Definitely, but we enjoy it as well.
Totally,
But then,
and also, God, imagine if we weren't doing that. It'd be so boring.
yeah, imagine just not
It's
being
charity.
funny. But then it's also a control thing, right? Like, I think a lot of times, like even when flirting, like I do think that you can use comedy to keep people at arm's length and be like, if I'm making jokes, you're here and I'm controlling the conversation. So like, I'll let you know how close you can get to me. And actually, sometimes it's just about being more vulnerable, which is the hardest thing to do.
We'll do it now. Cry.
I just feel like you have spoke about me being the funniest person at a party, but like not the prettiest. And I just like, I don't know why.
You're also the prettiest person at the party.
Oh my God. So
Yeah.
I don't need to be vulnerable because there's nothing to be vulnerable about.
Yeah, exactly.
I have everything.
You're perfect. I've been getting loads of help from ChatGPT recently.
My friend does as well. I'm not you. How do you use it?
You just ask it. You just like you're texting your friend, but they're way better.
But like, what sort of questions?
Like I'll be like, okay, what's a good example? I want to say this to someone, but I don't know how to say it without making them feel like they are occupying loads of my mind space, right?
Wow.
And then it will send you like a sort of version of what you want to say, but like in a much more sort of like standoffish way, which I have an issue with because sometimes I like put too much feeling into like things that I say. Does that make sense?
Wow, that's crazy. Your friends are like, wow, AI is taking our jobs.
Yeah.
You used to talk to me about that.
Yeah, literally.
No,
I know,
I-
and then I'm just like, go off with my little robot text messaging.
I've got a friend that uses it when they're like tidying up. So they just like ring their friends and be like, can you speak to me on tidying up? And now they just have a conversation with AI. So like AI will just chat
But like
back to
about
them.
what?
Anything. So they'll be like, I don't know, tell me about someone who was Joseph and Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat on the West End.
Well, like that's quite fun, like learning facts.
That is the only thing that I could think of.
Yeah, that is weird. Who was it?
Joseph, I didn't ask the question. It was a hypothetical. The only hypothetical I could think of was Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat.
No, I think that's a really good one.
I was actually in the choir, in the like, you know, there's a little kid choir. I actually did that when I was younger.
What do you mean, like a little kid choir? Like in
In
Joseph?
the show, they have like a little child's choir, and there was like the touring West End show of it.
Oh,
and I got
love.
to be in the kids' choir, and they had like a motorbike on stage and like a camel on
Wow,
stage.
I
like,
was the
years
camel.
ago.
That was me.
Wow.
I was the camel.
You did such a good job.
And now the humps are on the front.
Just full of water
Yeah.
in case you get dehydrated.
Literally, like what Tyler's giving breastfeeding. I can do that myself.
They are looking incredible. The best.
Were you in musicals as a child?
Yeah, girl, I was that.
What was your like favorite role?
Do you know what? I actually got to play the MC in Cabaret in like my sixth form production, and it was the only time. This is actually the sad truth of my life. I was a naughty kid. I got told off all the time unless I was on stage, and then I was actually like that week at school. I'd be kind of like praised. My life now is me being anxious that I'm going to get told off all the time unless I'm on stage. But I remember just teachers being so nice to me. Teachers who fucking hated my guts, then treat me with respect. And there was like a HE teacher
A what?
Home economics.
Oh, okay.
Like, what do you call that?
What? We didn't have that in.
Oh yeah, like food tech.
Oh, food tech. Yeah,
And, like,
macaroni
sewing?
cheese. No, we didn't do sewing.
You didn't ever make a pillow?
No, did we?
No, I mean like
We had DT. Yeah, we had textiles. Yeah, Mr. Logan.
But like home economics is what the
Right.
umbrella term was. But she hated me. But her husband came to see the show as well, and she said that her husband thought that they had paid an actual
actor.
professional to come in and do the role.
And how did that make you feel?
Like £1 million. No, it made me feel good. Of course, it was the thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And like, I would love to play that role still. Oh my god.
I think
imagine.
you would be such a good, and I could be your Sally Bowles. If only I could sing.
Yeah, but I don't like. Not
Do you think I can learn to sing?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Angelina Jolie just did it in that Maria Callas film.
Did she actually do the singing in that film?
I think it's like a combination.
Right,
Like I think some
interesting.
bits are Maria Callas and some bits like it's her singing. But she was saying like in that you know when they get like the Hollywood like actors around a table, but she was saying it was an amazing thing that she'd done because like you get to really find your true voice and like.
Yeah.
But
What?
I think it's great. Do you not like sing in the shower and stuff? Not right now. It's like you have to sing. You're like, I can't.
I've got like a trapped voice now. I'm so
Little
scared.
voice,
I
little
really,
voice.
really would love to be able to sing.
I want you to release like a Laura Marling folk album. That's all I want. That's all I want from you. But were you musical? Were you theatre at least?
I was theatre. Yeah, I was always the lead.
Were you weren't always the lead.
At secondary school, I was. Yeah.
Even when you were like in year 7, year 8, they
Yeah,
gave you lead
I was
roles.
always the lead. Even when Dua Lipa was there, I was always the lead.
What was your favourite lead role that you did at school?
Beatrice and Much Ado About Nothing. I fucking slayed. And then I came on my period on closing night. Like started my period. Do you remember that? And I was like, oh my God, this is such a weird colour. Like it wasn't the colour I thought it was going to be. It was like kind of brown.
Your first period.
My first period.
And
And
it
then
came out
we
your-
went to
it
Pizza
came-
Express in Highgate afterwards.
You're like, it's brown and it's came out my asshole.
But I loved being Beatrice.
Would you like to be like more like a stage actor now?
Definitely.
I would love like someone let me be on stage about me writing the words.
Yes, I think when I watch this, and I mean, sometimes I watch stuff and I think, fuck, like it's so unbelievably impressive because the way you are like the way you are keeping the pace the whole way through. Like for example, Jodie Comer in Prima Facie.
Mama.
When I watched that, I was like, you're like not even a real human. You're
Yeah.
like a god, like watching it.
Yeah.
But there's something in the training of it all and like really, playing with your voice and yeah, I would love to do that. You need to have like a certain depth to be able to do that. But
Yeah.
then you also need to be able to switch off from like the emotions of what you're saying. And I think
Yeah.
when it's your own words, it's much harder to do that, right?
Yeah, of
Whereas if
course.
it's someone else has written it, I think, I might be able to do that.
Well,
but-
it's different to comedy in a sense as well because like this has now become such a cultural little segment. Wow.
Yeah, wow. This is
Um,
us doing our cultural highlights.
Yeah, Radio 3.
Yeah, 4,
No one
I think. I
knows.
think it's 4.
No one knows or cares. No, but it's also with comedy, there's an element of you being like me. Like, whereas if you're playing a character, you don't have to have that same like
But also,
pressure.
when you're a comedian like on stage, you are playing for laughs.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever you decide to do, if it doesn't get a laugh, it hasn't worked. Whereas as an
Yeah.
actor, like what you decide to do, like if it's a risk, it might just work in a different way. And that's like a thrill that I'd love
Yeah.
to have one day.
But imagine being on stage and there being no laughs.
No,
before.
and that's the thing that I think about.
That's terrifying. That.
I think I would really struggle with that.
I'd still be like doing like a death scene and be like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Lol.
I know they're dead.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
So what's your like, okay, do you feel like how am I gonna say this? Are you like someone who, are you good at leaving parties? Is basically
Girl,
what I'm
you
trying
know
to
I'm
say.
not.
Yeah,
You
I
know
know,
I'm
but
absolutely
I didn't
not.
want to put that on you. I wanted to ask you the question.
You'd be like, so from my knowledge of you being an absolute fucking messy bogwitch.
Yeah, from my knowledge of like never seeing you like leave anywhere ever.
Yeah, honestly, no, I often, because I just don't realize like the herd of people leaving, and it'll always be that moment where it's like me and the host and like maybe the person they're trying to sleep with, like, and we're the only ones left, and I'm like, oh shit.
And do you then realise?
Yeah, and then,
And then
I'm
you
like, oh my
say,
God, I have to
threesome?
absolutely go. Yeah, please.
Can I take care of your dick?
Yeah, and then I take my trousers off and I'm like, this is what we wanted, right? And they're like, you've been at my nan's wake, you've got to leave.
And so are you religious?
I mean, I grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
You know?
Are your family still religious?
Nah,
No.
not really. But like, I come from like a Irish descent. Mm-hmm. So like Irish Catholic in the family. We used to have to go to church. I was a big believer when I was younger. I remember like being called like gay at school, and then like after school, like running into the church that was next to the primary school and like crying to the crucifix and like being like so tearful in the eye that like I thought that the head of Christ turned and looked at me.
Right.
And was like, faggot.
Yeah. But that's
him as
also
well.
like, I love the drama of all of that.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, me just running
going in, tears in my eyes. Jesus turned around. I see you,
He
Daniel.
called me gay.
Yeah.
Lord, please.
What? And then what? So did you feel like you were a believer, and therefore did you feel like shame?
Yeah, mama, it wasn't like, I remember the first time, or one of the first times I ever touched a willy. It was when we were practicing for our Holy Communion in church, and it was a friend of mine in my I was quite young though, but it was like just like touching, you know, and we were like practicing and we're so bored and we're like in the pews, and we just put our hands down each other's pants, and I had this like jolt of electricity through my body, which is obviously excitement, but I thought it was the devil. My mind thought it was the devil being
God,
there,
that's
like,
quite an interesting like thing, that then an association of like associating arousal with like the devil.
but it was just such this like, electricity that ran through me that I'd never felt before. And I just had this image of like, you know, the devil in hell with all the things that are going bad in the world, but he's also got a button for like little gay boys being
Yeah.
like, electric shock. Electric shock for that 9-year-old. But no, it did. It massively did. Even like the microaggressions. Like it wasn't. I didn't necessarily go to a school that was like gays are bad, but like there are micro things like that. Happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's very complicated. I think if you grow up, especially in the Catholic Church,
No,
like
it's not good.
well, shame. The shame is
The shame. The shame sanctuary. No, the shame though too.
yeah.
Do you grow up religious at all?
No.
Not at all.
No, we grew up very agnostic. Is it agnostic or atheist? What's the difference?
Agnostic is when you're not sure. Atheist is when you're like, there's no.
Yeah, but see, I think I'm more agnostic. I'm spiritual. I believe in something. But I don't know what it is. But yeah, I grew
That
up.
something just took you over.
I know it was trying to come out. Yeah.
Sheba.
No, but I believe in spirits, definitely.
Yeah, well, like in a ghostly way, or like
In
in
like
a energetic way.
An energetic way. Like I believe in like energy, and also like, you know, I believe in. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it.
Me and my dad have like had experiences where my dad's like an ex-punk rocker.
Right, love, legend alert.
Legend alert, so has like a mohawk, lol. Cringe, embarrassed. No, dad, you can't come. But me and him have had experiences where we've been out and like things have happened. I came out to my dad like over a line of cocaine. But my mom, can I say that?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's just a very
and this is where he
such
works.
an English sentence. You know what I mean? Like, in what like other country would that just be like a very normal sentence?
That's so true. That's so true. But my mum's the opposite. I would love for my mum to like be a bit more open to it.
Same, and
I'd
I
love to get
really want my
stoned
mum
with
to
my
take
mum.
shrooms. I think my mum,
Yes.
I think she would love it, but she won't do it.
Yeah, just like, I just can't believe, like, even when I think about my grandparents, I'm like, God, you lived a whole life without maybe ever getting super fucked up, or like, there are some old people that don't even say words. They don't swear.
I know.
And I'm like, you lived a whole life without even swearing. Mama, when I'm 90 years old, if I'm already forgetting, let me be in a constant K-hole.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, let me be that. I don't care.
But also, that's kind of what I imagine like being old feels like anyway. Like I might as well be on K.
Exactly. But I do also think it's interesting to think that we're maybe one of the first generations that won't have that, like, what will our hair be like? Do you know what I mean? Like, will people have old women hair? Or like, and we'll be able to swear. We're the least generation that's close to that kind of like Victorian religious morality.
It is true. And I feel like when we're old, it will be it'll be like a new wave of what being a grandparent or like an older person does feel like. I mean, I think that's already happened now. Like, I feel like when I look at people like Jane Fonda, I'm like, God, you've really changed the way that I like thought like older women.
Baby, if I look like Jane Fonda tomorrow,
yeah,
praise
I would
be.
do anything. Yeah, obviously. The Edinburgh Fringe is a month-long festival in August in, you guessed it, America. Where we perform every day for a month and
Baby.
drink and go out a lot. Well, I have actually only ever drunk the whole way through 1 year that I've done it.
Yeah.
Because I can't. My mental health gets really bad.
Yeah, I did a year where I just had like little mushroom drops because then it wasn't like me drinking too much. But like for me, or like last time I had like a little weed pen because like you do a show and it like drains you, but it's such like a social like playground that after your show you still want to be able to socialize and like not let what you've just done on stage affect you in any way. So like I just think like a little like bit on the weed pan kind of helps you.
But I think you also need to somehow come down. I think the weird thing about Edinburgh is you do a show and then if it's gone good, great. If it's gone bad, awful. But you leave your venue and then it's like back into this like massive vacuum where everybody else is doing a show and like no one gives a shit really.
Yeah, you're getting flyed by like Durham University for like two gay boys and Romeo and Juliet, and it's literally just this like old gay director who's cast these two young boys to kiss on stage.
Yeah, exactly. And then also you don't get the sort of like, what I love about being a comedian outside of the Fringe is I get to be like the main character, which obviously I love.
Yeah.
Whereas in Edinburgh, you are so not, you don't get, it's a really strange feeling. And then you leave your show and then you bump into people who maybe you like them, maybe you don't. And then you have to have conversations with them about like how the month is going. And then I just think, where's the bridge?
Where is the bridge?
Where is the bridge?
No, honestly, it is one of the worst experiences. Like I won't lie to no one. In the same way, it's a space that like when I first like did Seance, which is like the drag character that I do,
which is amazing. We all love.
Thank you. But that I took it to Edinburgh and it was like, but that was when it was like so much cheaper. I was in a free venue and like word of mouth was a thing. Whereas now it's so expensive that like even the industry are kind of like priced out of it. And it is that thing where I'm at the moment in so much fucking debt because of Edinburgh. And like, it's that annoying thing where it's like, I spent months making this show and then I performed it for a month. And then, yeah, all of you were getting paid because of well, you also worked, of course, but like because of the product being me. And I'm the only one that walks away with debt.
Yeah.
And it's
that's the thing that it really makes me angry because it's this thing that, you know, it's the same in music a lot of the time. It's like the artist gets sort of paid last, but like obviously everybody deserves to get paid. But in Edinburgh, it's like you are struggling in so many ways in the fact that you have to perform on your own or whatever every day. And you were doing 2 shows last year for like loads of days. Like you were doing Seance and your own stand-up show.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the month, they're like, here's your bill. You owe us money. And
it truly makes me want to quit. Like, when I found out how much money I owed, first I had to ring the kids and say we weren't going on holiday this year, which was, you know, they're upset. They wanted to go Butlins, but for me as well, I'm a full-time performer. So you want me to pay off a time that I worked for free by working for free. So now I've got to do shows that I won't take money from because I have to pay you back. And then it's just like I can barely survive as a performer as it is. So what is this landscape that we find ourselves in where no one can get work and then everyone is benefiting from us? It's so shit. And then it's like, guess what? No offense to anyone in Edinburgh, anyone in Scotland, but like I haven't gone up there for a month where it's overpriced to the point where people can't come up. Just perform to like locals.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what rimming is.
Well,
so what am I supposed to do?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of them do know what rimming is.
No,
maybe not in your accent. What the hell was that?
Rimming?
Yeah, I know.
Oh wait, my voice is being picked on again. I can't do anything right. I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night. That's not bad.
Really?
That weren't bad.
No, I think it's really good to talk about because actually the thing I keep finding with like, again, people asking for advice and like everybody's different and like.
Because you are the grandmother Willow of the comedy world.
Well, I mean, hardly, but if you call me a grandmother again, I will fucking burn you on the stake. Burn you on the stake? Is it at the stake or on the stake? Anyway, but
can I get my medium rare? Thank you.
yes, I just feel like it's really good to talk about the reality of it.
Of
Because what
course.
happens is people will blow smoke up your ass if you're thinking about doing it, and they'll tell you like, oh, this might be how much you'll make, this might be what you'll walk away from. Look at these people, look at what they've gotten
Baby,
from it.
promising the world.
Totally. And I think it's really good to have like realism about it. And it's not the only way now. There are so many other ways to get started as a stand-up. I'm not just talking about as a comedian, because there's so many different types of comedians now. But as a stand-up, there are loads of other ways. Like I look at someone like Laura Smith. Laura's never,
No.
she's done like a couple of shows at Edinburgh, but I don't think she's ever like done the full run.
Yeah, good
because
for her.
she's like, well, why would I? It's just like such a kind of
she's fucking
and
brilliant.
so
I
that's
love her.
kind of like using her and like loads of other people as examples, but like it's not the only way now. So I think it's good to talk about. But I think you are an amazing comic. You're very
Thank you.
talented. You've
So
got a
are
show
you.
coming up at Soho Theatre.
I do.
When is that? The 16th of April.
Yeah, the 16th to the 19th.
And
I
it's
just-
Dan Wye.
It's Dan Wye and my Sam Smith.
Am I Sam Smith?
Yeah.
Dan
I used
Wye.
my name as...
Are you Sam Smith?
Wait, have you brought me on here because
Wait,
you are
are you
Sam Smith?
Is this the reveal, the big reveal? Are you Sam Smith?
Wait, you've been talking to me like this, like I'll say it, a piece of shit, and you thought I was Sam Smith this entire time.
Has Sam Smith ever heard of your show?
Yeah, I do think so. Someone.
So tell us, why did you call the show Am I Sam Smith?
Oh, well, no. This is the full name is Dan Wye. Am I Sam Smith?
Yeah.
It was basically about a time. It's kind of like a show about identity, like obviously being a queer person. But there was a time in my life where people literally thought I was Sam Smith. So it's kind of this accidental identity theft of an A-list celebrity, which just fucked with me in a sense that you couldn't go anywhere. Like, I mean, I'm sure you get this actually. To like being in Liverpool street station, like hungover as fuck, and then like you'd feel this like vibration of energy as people like thought they recognized you and like get their phones out or like come up to you, and then I'd be, I don't want a photo, it's not me, but they'd think I was being like a rude celebrity and then be aggressive with me, and like it just got to a point where even though my job is as a performer, like I started to feel invisible, and I was like, and it's a very similar correlation to like kind of being in the closet, right, where like everyone sees you as this thing that you don't want to be seen as. And like it's kind of just that the journey of like trying to find your identity, or like when you're in the closet, your identity gets taken away from you because you don't feel safe enough to be gay as a kid, and then coming out and being an adult, and then your identity being taken away from you again because people think that you're this famous like queer person. But then of course like loads of hilarious like anecdotes within that, but it was just an intense time where people just thought I was an A-lister. And even like professionally, romantically, there were times where I'd be like chirping someone all night, and then at the end they'd say something and I'd be like, oh my God, you think I'm Sam Smith?
Wow.
Yeah, it really fucked with me for a bit. It hasn't happened for a long time, thank God, but like it still does really play on my mind.
And what were you going to say? So Sam Smith, does Sam Smith know?
Yeah, because a friend of Sam's came to see the show, and afterwards I was chatting to them because they're like a performer as well, and then they were like, I text Sam about it and was like, you should come see the show.
Yeah.
And like there has been times where someone has walked up to Sam Smith and been like, oh my God, Seance, I love your work.
Wow.
Or like thought that Sam was me.
That's a good like twist at the end of the
Yeah, and that's been put in the show.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say if it hasn't.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
But no, it's like it's a fun angle of looking at identity, you know. Like obviously that's a big thing in like everyone's lives. But it was just this mad moment of me being like, oh my God, like I don't exist anymore. Like and then also acting like a celeb, because then leaving the house of like big sunglasses on, or like something that would just not let people see really what I look like, because I just didn't want that confusion. And then also like, it's not like people are saying that they think I'm Brad Pitt. Do you know what I mean? It was someone that I was like, okay, cute, I don't see it. How does that make me feel? Like, that's how people see me. Like, I don't, you know, it just puts so many things into question. And like, yeah, just being in a queer space and like wanting to flirt with someone, and even got to the point of like anxiety where even if someone looked at me, I'd be in my head be like, they think I'm Sam Smith. So it stops
becomes
you from,
like an intrusive like paranoia.
Yeah,
I
legit.
remember when it was happening and it was like you were
intense.
well it becomes like a constant intrusive thought. It's like once you know when you're an anxious person with ADHD OCD tendencies, like it's very hard not to
Okay, you've read my CV.
it's hard not to like hyperfixate on these thoughts of like this is all that people are thinking about
Baby,
me.
of course. Those intrusive thoughts. I get really bad like someone's dead or like someone's been kidnapped or something. I remember one time my friend was like, I'm gonna go grab a coffee, I'll meet you outside the flat on the street. And like we were in Berlin, like doing this gig, and like I went out on the street and she just wasn't there for like maybe a minute. And the way that my brain imagined that like a van had kidnapped her and I'd have to ring the services and like all these things, and I'd have to like text her family, and then she's just across the road being like, "You're right."
Yeah.
And my brain literally went to that level of like narration because I'm such an artist and I just can't stop creating
I know
stories.
narratives. I know we're storytellers.
Yeah, put me
the
around a
stories I
campfire.
tell myself in my brain all day,
Baby,
every day.
Fucking, it's given Stephen King. Yeah. It's given Stephen King.
My last sort of topic of conversation that I want to talk about is what you would be if you were going to be hosting like your dream best party ever. What do you see yourself as in terms of being a host?
Oh, God.
Because it's hard when you're a performer, because I feel like we aren't massive hosts because we like I feel like
Hosting live.
we host like you're performing. So I don't really host parties very much because I feel like I'm constantly bringing people together with my art.
Yeah, I'm a spiritual MC to all my fans, my friends, and my family.
Yeah.
What kind of host? Well, the thing is like I don't want it in my place because I remember one time having a party at my dad's house and someone literally cracked the entire toilet in half. I have no idea how.
How?
What kind of finger banging are you doing at 14 where you crack the whole toilet in half? What are we doing?
That's like you in the back of the simulator. It was you. You weren't in the simulator. You were actually just on your toilet, Dad, at your dad's house.
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm on the toilet, it does feel like one of those...
Space Mountain. You know when you do a shit and you see stars, I'm like, that's Space Mountain.
Yeah, there's like a fucking like robot gorilla, like a Yeti chasing me.
I used to love Space Mountain. I used to bang.
Okay, great. Back to the studio.
Okay, but your dream. I
don't want to host it in my own space because I have too much anxiety of things being broken.
Fair.
So I think like a big like manor house that's rented. I do like. Do you remember that time in Manchester when it was like the murder mystery thing? Like
I didn't actually go to that, but anyway.
You didn't go to that?
No.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
Anyway, back to the studio.
I was obviously invited. I was just busy.
No, of course.
Yeah.
I do remember now.
Yeah.
You're going to another murder mystery party.
Yeah, you hosted, didn't you?
But this is it. I really like that because I like
organised fun.
Nah, just even sometimes it's nice to be around your friends and not have to talk about your own shit. Like, I like being around friends and playing a game or like being a character. I think that's like real funny. So to have a thing where people come, like a murder mystery where you are just a character in an outfit and you can just be silly with your mates again. I crave that shit, you know?
I agree. And like, I love playing games and I love like, I love an element of structure of an event if I'm hosting it because I know that, and like never at anything that I organize is like the conversation run dry. It's just like, it's physically impossible because like of the, the people that I hang out with. But having some order of things is nice.
Yeah, legit.
And I think a murder mystery is a really fun like way to do that.
Like a Ren Fair fucking banquet. Let me feel like a Viking king. I want like a goblet in my hand and like a big leg of lamb.
And then just like gout.
Go, listen, don't bring that up. We both have been touched by Lady Gout.
Well, at least I thought I was touched by Lady Gout.
No, same.
Yeah.
I wasn't either. Mine wasn't gout either.
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't think I know this
We've
story.
been gout gaslit.
Yeah, we're in the sort of like we're in the fake gout gang. We're like veggie gout.
Yeah. Like my reflection's giving Henry VIII. That's not my true identity.
It's not inside of me.
No, the gout's not inside of me.
No, these are...
No, mine was just like, because I performed barefoot and the person was like, you keep performing barefoot. Because I used to say I'm so barefoot. Yeah,
And
that's
what,
right. I
someone
drag
said
character
that
in
you had
Buffy.
gout?
No, it's the pressure that I put on. It would make it react in a way that I thought it was gout. Because when it's like, I thought I broke my fucking foot. It was so painful. And I was like, I've got gout. And then it wasn't. No, but I think like a big like fucking banquet, medieval.
Yeah.
Like
Loads of red wine.
music, like drugs on tap. I want there to be like trays of meat, trays of drugs. And I like
Bowls
it
of cigarettes.
yeah.
Well, I love
It's
like going to a
um,
party and there being bowls of cigarettes. I think it's such a nice touch.
You know when you go to like a kids party as well, it's like a mixed crisp bowl.
Yeah.
Hate that, but a mixed cigarette bowl.
Yeah, of
Might be a
whatever you want.
menthol,
You've got
might be a
Vogues.
split.
Yeah. Might be a Marlboro Red.
No, but I just want it to be like pure hedonism. Like I like it for us all to be silly, it get real loose and last forever. I like a party that lasts forever.
And that's the benefit of having like a country manor house.
Absolutely.
Is you can stay there for the whole weekend.
Yeah,
I think that's a great dream party.
Thank
I
you.
think one day it will happen for us, I'm sure.
Oh, 1,000.
Yeah,
when we turn 25,
Yeah.
let's do a big one for our 25th.
Yeah, 25th. I'd love that, actually. Well, I'm only 21 now, as you know.
Yeah, I'm 19. No, I
Well-
think that, like a big blowout. I just love a good fucking... That's why I'm always the last person there. Like, I don't want it to end.
You love fun. You're addicted to fun.
Let's get that tattooed on our neck.
I love fun. I'm addicted to fun. I'm addicted to fun as well. But that's why I will be the first person to leave if I'm not having fun.
Oh.
I only stay out late when I am having fun.
What have you ever had like an awkward moment where you've left really early to an event that people expected you to be there for a long time?
Yeah.
Can you name it? Name them.
No, because there's loads of times where I've gotten somewhere and been like, oh, actually, I shouldn't have come here.
Or do you know sometimes when you go there and you go, oh wait, I'm the energy. Like this whole thing is so dead, and you've expected me
Exactly,
to be the only
and
one
that's
to bring
what I was trying to get to at the start.
Yeah.
Is like that pressure is why sometimes I don't go places now, because I don't actually want to go there and then like disappoint and not have enough energy, or like know that I want to leave by 11.
Or you know those moments where like, I've had it sometime like recently where I've been like chatting to someone and I'm not quite sure what the vibe is necessarily. Are we flirting or are you looking for a mate? Because let me tell you, I barely see my mates as it is. I don't need another one. But then like I've been trying to be a lot more strict with myself to be like, do you think this person wants to fuck you? If not, do you want to waste a night entertaining
And
someone
a
for
day,
free?
the next day, like, because also it's like sometimes I'll stay out like too late and I'm like, that was
Yeah.
pointless, and then it's ruined my day.
Not even a kiss.
Yeah, not even a little
kiss?
touch of the finger.
Do you know what I realized recently? Like, I think there are two brains of people where, like, I do think I have villain brain. So, like, if there are certain things, instead of going, I go, shut the fuck up. Like, if someone runs and just gets on the train and they stand there and they're looking around like, I'm not like, well done, mate. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Or, like, you go to, like, a meditation center and there's, like, a hippie smiling at you. I'm just like, get a job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not the kind of person. Or,
I
like,
don't think that's villain brain, by the
or
way.
like people laughing at work.
Yeah.
You're in a bar, there's like people laughing between each other, and I'm
Yeah.
like, don't. I think like I'm more negative in that way than going, having a nice time. I'm more like, shut the
Right.
fuck
See,
up.
I'm more like, oh, that's nice that the person got on the train.
Oh really?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we're different people
But
then.
I like, I know you. This is gonna make you laugh. I know it's gonna make you laugh, but I like, I'm actually so deeply an empath.
Do you know,
Thank you.
I've just realised the worst kind of person to come to an event, someone who stands in the corner and says, I'm such an empath. I used to be the poet laureate of my primary school.
Yeah. Okay.
I used to, no, but generally like write poems for like din ladies when they were retiring in assembly and stuff.
That was really
I used to have like a little
cute.
dictaphone and like
That's really
record little
cute.
lines of poetry as I walked around. When did I lose that softness?
Do it now.
A poem? About what?
About me.
Like spoken word.
No. A poem.
Nah, but I'm speaking it out loud.
Well, yeah, but is that what it is? I feel like spoken word. I don't want a spoken word written about me.
Yeah, but I'd rather do a spoken word right now because it's
Alright.
easier to do.
Go
I
on, do a
think.
spoken word about me.
Okay. Grace Campbell, milkmaid cut, breasts aflow. Does she know everything that goes around comes around? An empath. Which path? Which path will lead Grace to the place where she feels peace and solitude? Am I rude? Is that Jude? Law. What's the law of the land? I don't understand. Grace's voluptuous breasts. I'm impressed. There we are.
Wow, piss and love. Thank you. That was good.
Wow.
Wow.
I really felt creative flow.
Did you?
I
That was
really
like
flowed.
something just happened to you there.
Yeah, that was crazy. What about the Roundhouse?
Yeah. You're at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park. I'll go first. You go first.
No, you go
You go
first.
first. Describe me on a night out. It doesn't have to be a joke. I think that's a bit of a just describe me in the way that you just did absolute poetry bars, Jude Laure. What is it? What did you say?
Honestly, I blacked out.
No,
I don't remember what I did. I blacked out.
possessed by Robert Burns. Robert Burns was coming through your spirit.
If you've got no respect for me, that's honestly how you read the poem.
No, I wish I could do an accent like that. I'm like, hello.
Sorry, Miss Doubtfire.
Yeah, my Scottish accent is so much more akin to Mrs. Doubtfire when Pierce Brosnan is like, oh, you're English. You sound a bit Scottish. No, I'm from Somerset. Well, hello there.
Can someone just please cast Grace in a leading role on
Please,
a stage?
the West End. Go on.
Okay, so there are different forms, I think. So there is a moment in a night out where Grace is leading the situation, you know? She's someone that you want to look towards. She's got some funny anecdotes. She's drinks a flow and it's a good time. Then if we go a few more drinks in, or I don't know, we've gone to the toilet together for some reason, no one knows why.
Just to talk.
Just to chat a bit
Just
deeper.
to talk. And also, I've got something on my vagina I want you to just check out.
Exactly. And my nose is really runny. That's why I keep sniffing in that cubicle.
Yeah, and that's why with eggs you need toilet roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's long sniffs because that hay fever be kicking, girl. And the only thing to help hay fever, cocaine.
Yeah. No, do you know what is really good for hay fever is ketamine.
For real.
Really helps symptoms.
What? Because bees pollinate the.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like local honey.
Yeah, it is. It's like the horse's honey, I guess.
Wait, that's why horses never sneeze.
Maybe
horses always sneeze.
Horses do sneeze. I've seen a horse sneeze many times and so much snot comes out. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, so there's you, empress, entertainer. We then step into a little bit more of there's an anger in your eyes. You kind of stood on the bar and there's confusion but anger in your eyes. You've gone a little bit further in. And that's also a fun moment because then there's an enemy that we'll have made. Someone have done something beforehand. And at first it's okay, that's a bit cringe. But then if we get ourselves into that next stage, it's full villainous Machiavellian, how dare they? And it's kind of plotting their downfall. And then the next stage is you just absolutely Niagara Falls, piss streaming out your purse.
Or just coming back from the toilet and being I just had sex. I feel like I've done that quite a lot of times when we've been somewhere. I'll be I just had sex with someone in the toilet.
No, but that's perfect.
Yeah.
I think my favorite nights out with people are those nights out where you just say yes to the next adventure. I love a multiple location night.
Same.
And I like there to be drama of being I just got sucked off. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Behind the bins.
Yeah, but I think it's a fun ride. And then there's also the moment where you just don't want any. You're everyone fuck off. You're I'm getting my Uber.
Yes.
You've had too much. But there's the glisten and then the fury. And then the confusion. And then they're everyone get the fuck away from me.
I like
it's
that.
Gorgeous ride.
Yeah, I like that. Well, you you are actually not like that because you're so consistent.
Oh, thank you.
You're so consistent from the moment you arrive somewhere, and you don't get really I've never seen you messily drunk, or you don't get. Is that because you're so tall? You think?
Yeah, you actually just don't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so
well,
tall.
I'm on the floor.
Eyes rolling. You've got no idea.
No, but you don't get visibly. You never look
But I think it's more socially. I'm socially anxious enough that I do get fucked up, but I'm always able to kind of be still chatting.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes those conversations are absolutely fucked up and stupid.
You're quite you're a character in a sort of
not real kind of way, yeah.
In a sort of Judd Apatow, one of Judd Apatow's earlier films, but a straight man, who is gonna come out as gay at the end of the film.
Yeah.
That's your vibe.
So I'm giving you closeted.
And you're
Judd
no, you're
Apatow
actually giving me
character.
reverse. So actually,
I
you'll
get straighter.
You're gonna get straighter. You get straighter as
Yeah.
the night goes on.
But do you also think that that's also on you? Because like as the night goes on and you get
I
a bit
want to
more
get with
fucked,
you more.
You want to get with me more.
That's the optical illusion.
Yeah.
As
is
I've
it-
taken more drugs, I've become more attracted to you, and
Yeah, yeah.
then you become straight in my eyes.
It's the age-old question: is it a vase or two women kissing?
Yeah.
But I think we are quite a good match, actually, like when we're out. Although I'm a bit more puppy dog. So when you get a little bit more like, I'm done, I'm a bit more like, no, wait. Let's do it. Let me
Yeah,
start, let
I
me
know.
tell
Do
you
you
the
remember when we
story.
had that night in LA and like we got really high?
Yeah.
We went and got gummies, and then we
Yeah.
saw that weird fucking shopping delivery thing on the street. Do you
Oh
remember?
my God, the little robot. Do you remember also we went to that like nice little restaurant that you liked?
I love that
And being
restaurant.
sat
Laurel,
under a fucking heater.
Laurel Hardware. No. Yeah, Laurel Hardware is what it's called.
And
Yeah, it
underneath
was so
it was
hot.
like outdoor and they had a heater on. And honestly, we had to like move multiple times and asked to turn it off.
Also, the
multiple
thing
times.
about LA, and then we will have to end this episode because we have to do the other dilemma episode, which is much shorter, by the way.
Okay.
The thing about LA is that like we were in this beautiful, gorgeous garden in a restaurant, having a glass of wine. It's this amazing garden, and you can't smoke.
Bitch, you
It's like
can't smoke.
this is somewhere where it would be so divine to have a cigarette, and you can't smoke.
Why do you have outdoor heaters if people
Why
ain't
do you have an
smoking?
outside space if you can't smoke?
Honestly, this is why I'll never quit smoking, because give me like a little glass of wine. Give me someone who's got
on
something
like a
that's...
pub patio.
Baby, give me give me
Baby,
give me an old white dog turd near me. Dogs are allowed in.
Mm-hmm.
Give me someone who's just broken up with their ex. That's all I need, and a 20-pack of fags. That's God's gift.
That is us on a night out.
That's us until we die.
Yeah. Well, Dan, you've been an amazing guest.
You've been an amazing host.
And everybody listening to this podcast, please go and see Dan, Why Am I Sam Smith,
yeah,
at the
please.
Soho Theatre, 16th to 19th of April.
Yeah.